So this is video number 2 of my flying to test if I'm competent flying my drone. When you go in for your CFC exam, before you take the exam you have to sign or declare that you're competent at flying, and they say that your CAA may request your flight logs. So I'm just doing some flights just to record of flight logs. Some birds there, a crow chasing a eagle of some sort, quite noisy. So we're going to do a square here, flying the direction in one direction and follow a square. So you can do these flights as practice. There's no particular order or way you really need to do it. This is just one way I'm doing my little flights here. Do it flying forward in the direction I'm flying, doing a square. So if the CAA does request my flight logs, I can give them this particular log on my flights. So I'm doing with the UAV hub, and I hope to do the exam soon after this flight. So doing the circle here, and we're facing one direction as we do the circle. There's multiple ways you could probably do this. You can fly doing this with one direction, you can fly facing inwards, you can fly facing outwards from the center. It's no particular way, it's just, you could even just do circles. It's actually not that easy to do these flat circles, not even really line up that well in the flight logs. So but I've been flying this drone for more than a year now, and I've only had one crash with it, and that's because the drone just had some trouble landing and decided that it to fly bypassed me and crashed into the car for some reason. So we're doing a kind of rectangular with two circles at each end. You can adjust the length of those, so you don't have to do it exactly to that kind of shape, but for what I was doing, this is what I came up with. It's actually much more complicated to do than I thought it would be. So actually trying to do this by line of sight is not the most easy thing. Just doing another attempt at this. So it might be help if when doing this to use these like football pitch lines might help in positioning yourself, lining up. I might do this again at some point just to see practice. So even though there's not really any advantage to if you're just having just to use a small drone, having this A2 CofC is primarily for if you were doing work with the drone. So here I'm doing the figure of 8. So if you're doing work with the drone, it would allow you to do that, and it allows you to get to within 50 meters of buildings, and obviously you have to stay 50 meters from people, but that's for drones larger than 500 grams, and obviously drones less than 500 grams you have to not intentionally overfly people. Here obviously the small drone you can do that, but again, like I say, when this man was just curious about my drone, but I decided to land it because he's got a dog, and their dogs particularly like to get a bit curious about this flying object, so he's kind of curious as well. He's kind of asking about it and what size drones, and this says that's quite small. He's seen bigger drones. He had friends who's got a big drone or something, so he's quite curious. So a lot of people aren't actually particularly. Most people are usually curious about the drones. I don't usually get negative people saying you shouldn't fly drones or anything around. Most people seem to be relatively curious. So this is what from my flight logs. So again, I did the squares first, a different shape, then the square there. So there's also the circle to do, and then there's the kind of rectangles with 2 circles in this case it seems like I did 3 of those. I think I attempted was 2 circles, but they didn't come out very well with a rectangle, and then the figure of 8 at the end. Now I've taken my A2 CofC. I've taken it with UAV hub. There's the document here shows you what, if you get the card, this would be what it looks like. The A2 open category. If you scan the QR code, it takes you to the open category on the CAA's website, and it gives you all the information on the weights and how close you can fly with the drone, and obviously the A2 CofC allows you for commercial work and fly up to 50 meters from buildings. To later on this side of the card it would say this can be revoked at any time or amended in the future. The subject to change in 2026, where the drone weights will be brought in closer with the EU weights, which so you could fly a 900-gram drone almost close to people, but maybe not flying over people. So it just gives that more flexibility with slightly larger drones with what they have in the EU. And there'll also be remote ID, which will be brought in 2026. So these changes will be brought in the future. So this is the document from the CAA CAP. It is 2012. I think this is updated. CAP 2012 March 2023. So, and it says here built up on the market before 2026, where the changes to how we'll fly, they'll bring in remote ID will be brought in, so all drones will have to transmit remote ID and other things that will become legal. So all this will change then, but this is the current for this system now. So you can fly, obviously the 250 drones you can fly over people. It's just read user manual. So in the future, after 2026, you'll have to do the online exam from what the consultation indicated. So whereas currently you have to do that for between the 200 and 500 grams. If you do that, you still have to if you haven't done the A2 CofC, you have to stay 150 meter away from industrial registration things and 50 meters from people. If you've done the A2 CofC, that changes from 150 meters to just 50 meters from in residential areas. So if you can maintain a 50 meter gap in a residential area, you're good to go. It allows you to fly more dense areas, but you still have to maintain 50 meters. Where is in after 2026, that will change to not drones above 250 grams, no unintentional flights over people. So that's from the consultation. So that will be presumably what happens after 2026. So that's what the QR code, the document that should lead you onto that. You can find it. If it doesn't lead you there, you'll find it on the CIAA's website under drones and under open category list.